There are artists whose names are read like titles. Yeng Constantino, the kind of name that, in the Philippines, announces not only a voice but an era. From a girl who taught herself songs on a borrowed guitar to a songwriter whose melodies became the soundtrack of a generation, Yeng's life is an unfolding testament to raw talent shaped by discipline, faith, and resilience. Her is a story about finding voice, both literal and metaphorical, and turning vulnerable honesty into songs that connect across ages and circumstances. Josephine Yeng Eusebio Constantino was born on December 4, 1988 in Rodriguez, formerly Montalban, Rizal Province, Philippines. She grew up the youngest of 5 children in a household where faith and family were constant undercurrents. Music arrived early, in a home where radio and church hymns created a daily soundtrack. Yeng found herself imitating melodies, plucking at simple tunes, and scribbling lyrics on scraps of paper. Her parents, often referenced in profiles as supportive, devout, and practical, encouraged their children's schooling but also emphasized faith and community. Yeng's upbringing in a born-again Christian household gave her a foundation that would inform both her private life and public statements for years to come. From these beginnings she developed 2 hallmarks that would define her career: an openness about her beliefs and an ability to write candidly about human relationships. Constantino's family life was not celebrity lore but the steady, ordinary rhythm of a Filipino provincial household. She is the youngest among siblings. Various profiles and public records list family members by name and recount a humble environment where talent was cherished but not presumed to guarantee fortune. The Constantinos prized education, church gatherings, and a sense of loyalty to one another. Relationships within the extended family also placed Yeng in a broader network of Filipino media connections. For instance, she is related to some figures known in Philippine television circles. Still, she often emphasizes that the affection and groundedness of home kept her centered as her career accelerated. Formal schooling for Yeng followed the typical Filipino path of elementary and high school in Rizal. But alongside school books, she was already learning practical lessons in songwriting and performance. Accounts she has given in interviews describe long afternoons with a guitar, composing songs about friendships, fast heartbreaks, and dreams, frequently drawing on everyday details rather than abstract notions. At approximately age 14 she began serious performance work in local events, church functions, and small gigs. That early exposure to live performance taught her 2 crucial skills: how to connect with audiences and how to shape a song's emotion for a live room. She has said in interviews that starting work young left her with baggage, experiences and pressures that later made therapy and self-care important, but it also accelerated her craft. The pivotal doorway to national recognition came in 2006. At age 17, Yeng auditioned for the inaugural season of Pinoy Dream Academy, a high-visibility reality singing competition modeled on the A-Star Academy format. The program offered contestants constant mentorship, training, and exposure. For Yeng, it was both a pressure cooker and an accelerant. On August 27, 2006, she auditioned. By December of that year, she had captured the title of the show's first Grand Star Dreamer, winning with hundreds of thousands of viewer votes. Her victory was not merely a television finale, it was the cultural ignition point for a young songwriter who had already accumulated a modest repertoire of original works. The win launched her professional recording career and established her as a mainstream presence. In the months after Pinoy Dream Academy, Yeng's first album, Salimat, was released by Star Music. The record prominently featured her own compositions, a bold move for a new artist whose label could have relied on covers or outside songwriters. Listeners were struck by the freshness of her voice as a lyricist, conversational, emotionally direct, and laced with the small, vivid details that make songs feel personal. Salimat became a commercial success quickly, reaching gold and then platinum certification in short order. Its title track and other cuts resonated for their blend of pop accessibility and rock-tinged instrumentation. Her songwriting, melodic and often autobiographical, gave her a reputation as both performer and composer. This combination, performer plus credible songwriter, helped Yeng avoid the one-hit identity trap. Instead, she began accumulating a body of work that fans and critics recognized for sincerity. After Salimat, Yeng continued to write and record with an artist's evolving confidence. Albums such as Journey, released in 2008, and subsequent records contain songs that became staples on radio and at live shows, melodically catchy, conversationally phrased, and often lit by a touch of pop-punk energy in their arrangements. What distinguished Yeng during this period was her refusal to be pigeonholed. She could craft tender ballads about love and regret, anthemic songs about friendship, and upbeat tracks suited to the stage, all while maintaining a recognizable voice. Her music reflected lived experiences, youthful longing, maturation, and a faith-infused outlook that never felt preachy but rather personal. Over the years, she also experimented with acoustic arrangements, collaborative projects, and occasional forays into acting and hosting, all extensions of a multifaceted career. The career arc that began with a reality show victory matured into measurable achievements. Yeng's early albums earned gold and platinum certifications. She accumulated multiple awards from major Philippine music institutions. Chart performance and radio play made her one of the country's most recognized singer-songwriters. Beyond sales and trophies, her deeper achievement was cultural. Several of her songs entered the shared memory of a generation, played at weddings, school events, and family gatherings. The songs were not passing pop novelties, they became familiar touchstones for listeners navigating youth, heartbreak, celebration, and faith. This kind of permeation, where music becomes part of daily life, is often harder to quantify than a sales figure, but it is precisely the mark of long-term cultural achievement. Yeng's private life, until it intersected with public curiosity, remained anchored in a strong faith tradition. In 2013, she began a relationship with Victor Yeng Constantino, a fellow musician and worship director associated with Victory Christian Fellowship. After a year of courtship, the couple announced their engagement in March 2014, and they were married on February 14, 2015 in an intimate ceremony in Taguite, Hacienda Isabela, Indang, Cavite. Their relationship has been portrayed publicly as one grounded in shared spiritual values and mutual support. Yeng and Yen have shared certain lifestyle choices. Reports indicate they adopted vegan diets at one point and have collaborated in faith-based projects. In interviews and social posts, Yeng often frames her marriage in terms of partnership and creative support, a relationship that allowed her to explore songwriting with renewed perspective. No long career proceeds without friction. For Yeng, some of the difficulties were the common pressures of early fame, public expectations, the grind of touring, and the emotional labor of mining personal life for songs. Over time, she has spoken publicly about undergoing therapy, acknowledging that starting work young meant carrying emotional baggage that required professional attention. Her candidness about mental health work is significant in a cultural context where such topics are sometimes stigmatized. It frames her not as scandalized but as someone pursuing long-term well-being and emotional clarity. On the controversy front, Yeng's public life has largely avoided major scandals that would mar her reputation. Rather, the controversies were typically minor public spats or rumor cycles that accompany any celebrity. When challenges arose, she tended to respond by reaffirming personal values and focusing on artistic work, a path that minimized prolonged public feuding. Throughout her career, Yeng has participated in benefit concerts, fundraising drives, and community projects. Her music and public presence have often been mobilized to support educational initiatives and charity events, particularly those connected to children and schools in underserved areas. For instance, she has performed in benefit concerts designed to raise funds for classroom construction and community programs. Her involvement exemplifies a common pattern among influential Filipino artists, using visibility to assist local projects and to inspire civic participation. From the early recognition as a breakout artist after Salimat to awards in the Awit Awards, Alive Awards, and various industry ceremonies, Yeng's trophy shelf is substantial. She has been recognized both for songwriting and for performance. She has received People's Choice honors and critics' recognitions. Importantly, your award listings reflect not only sales but also impact, songs that dominated radio, music videos that captured imaginations, and a body of work that sustained attention across multiple album cycles. An artist's mid-career often becomes a story about reinvention. For Yeng, the noteworthy development in 2025 was her first fully self-produced single, Lumulutang Nahulog, which industry coverage framed as marking a new era in her artistic trajectory, one where she embraced greater creative control and production responsibilities. This shift is common for singer-songwriters who have accumulated experience and confidence. Taking the production helm allows an artist to align sonic textures with personal vision. Then for Yeng, it signaled a readiness to evolve beyond performer and writer into producer and creative director. Around the same time, she remained a sought-after live performer and mentor. Features in major lifestyle and entertainment outlets highlighted her reflections on being a mentor and her evolving mood in music, a sign that audiences and the industry saw her as both an elder statesperson in pop rock and an active creative force. If Yeng's songs are the first visible evidence of her legacy, the deeper imprint is in the way her work normalized candid, conversational songwriting in contemporary Filipino pop. She made it acceptable for a mainstream artist to write plainly about everyday feelings, to turn small moments into memorable hooks. Generations of young Filipino songwriters now cite contemporary artists who were inspired by Constantino-era songwriting, songs that prioritized honesty over polished artifice, and relatable narratives over grand gestures. Her influence extends to the music business as well. Early adoption of original songwriting for a mainstream young female artist, and later steps toward creative control, map a career path that others can emulate. Beyond industry mechanics, her public openness about therapy and mental health establishes a model of emotional responsibility for public figures, that being an artist doesn't preclude attending to inner life. These are the quieter and more enduring features of legacy, changes in cultural norms and professional expectations that outlive any single album cycle.